Do you want to know why kids talk back and how to fix it without yelling? It's actually not as hard as you might think. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle of self-government. And in this video, we are talking about backtalk. In this video, we're going to be talking about that backtalk, what it looks like, just in case you don't recognize it, because sometimes it could be surprising to you, and then why it happens. What is it that they're doing this for? And then what are the solutions that you have at your fingertips to solve this backtalk problem? Are you tired of hearing backtalk such as whatever, or you can't make me, or you don't know that's true, or no I didn't, you don't know that? Those types of things where people are justifying, making excuses, trying to throw you off the trail, those are all backtalk things that really get under a parent's skin, especially when the parent knows that they have the truth and the child is trying to throw a red herring in the mix, right? They're trying to say, but do you really know that? What if it was so-and-so? Or they're trying to negotiate to get out of a little bit of negative attention. So whether your child is trying to negotiate, trying to throw you off the trail because they actually are at fault for something, or just trying to be a know-it-all, backtalk is actually not okay. In fact, it ruins the roles in the family. Now, I know that back in the old days, people didn't tolerate backtalk. In fact, somebody might get smacked if they did backtalk. I hope you're not smacking at your house. It's definitely not necessary. But I will say, when a person tolerates backtalk in their family, it actually undermines the roles. So let's talk a little bit about roles. That's an important part of understanding this issue and understanding the principles of self-government. So this book here, Parenting a House United, is probably the one I'm known the most for. But actually, this book here, Roles, The Secret to Family Business and Social Success, became a bestseller even before this book became a bestseller. And this is because I think the title caught people's attention. Like, what? She's talking about roles? That's very unfashionable. Because it is unfashionable to talk about roles, but like it or not, roles are part of our lives. We have roles in our marriages, roles with our children, roles in the workplace, roles in the community, roles in our churches. We have roles everywhere. So what exactly is a role? A role is basically a part that you are designated to play. Whether you chose the part or not, whether it just happened to you, you cannot escape it. We actually have a whole bunch of people in our society nowadays who are trying to escape their roles. They leave their children and their families. They don't invest in their marriages. They don't even want to acknowledge that they're a sister or a brother or a mother or a father or a child in a family. But guess what? Whether they want to acknowledge it or not, the truth is the truth. You are who you are. It's self-evident. If you have a child, you are a parent. You can run away from it all you want and try not to live as you would have to live as a parent. But at the end of the day, you know that child belonged to you. You'll feel something forever, no matter what, even if somebody else raised them. It's just the way it goes. Our bonds run thicker, and they give our identity more stability than we really even think. And if we try to run away from our roles, things start to fall apart. So when we're talking about backtalk, we've got to bring in the concept of roles, because when a person doesn't live according to their role, everything falls apart. If a child does not follow the instruction and know answers and corrections from their parents, dysfunction is the result. If the parent does not do the correction, when a child is backtalking, dysfunction is the result. We have to keep the parent as the one who's the teacher, the leader, the trainer, the one that the child is supposed to follow the example of. Now, I know not all parents are perfect, and certainly not all children are really great at following their parents' examples. That's a truth. But the structure of family was designed in a self-evident way that some people came before others. So their role is to be the leader, and we've got to make sure that we establish that in all of the teaching that we're doing. So backtalk often tests the leadership. That's the whole point of it. They're like, I don't know if I want you to tell me what to do. I don't know if I want you to lead me. So when a person is talking back to you, that's when they're saying, I don't think you get to be my leader, because do you know this? They test your intelligence. So they challenge your role. They challenge your control. That's one of the reasons that people do back talking. Another reason is just because they don't want to take personal responsibility. So we need to remember that. There are a lot of people in this world who have an aversion to taking any personal responsibility for their own behaviors. And oftentimes back talk happens when someone is being talked to or confronted about something that they should take responsibility for. Personal responsibility is a key part of learning self-government, and we need to teach ourselves and our children that it's safe, it's healthy, it's comfortable to take personal responsibility. It's okay to say, I'm sorry, I didn't know, to be humble in those ways. It's okay. It's just part of accepting the consequences of life, which is one of our 4 basic skills that we talk about here on the Teaching Self-Government channel. So what do you do when your child is talking back to you? You point them back toward their 4 basic skills. Now, if you've subscribed to this channel, you've heard me talk about the skill disagreeing appropriately a lot. When I asked all of my children what their favorite skill was of all of the self-government skills that I taught them, I would say the one that probably had the greatest impact on their life was learning how to self-regulate and be calm, but the one that they thought was their very favorite, their go-to in most circumstances, was the skill disagreeing appropriately. Why? Because they got their way most of the time. And I say most of the time because not all of the time. Just because a person uses the skill disagreeing appropriately doesn't mean that they should get their way all of the time. It's a skill that we use in our life. Whether we are children or whether we are adults, the skill disagree appropriately is useful. I'm actually a person who participates in politics, on creating law where I live, and there is no way to go through that process of creating a bill and a law and get your way every single time. It is not going to happen. I wish that I could say this problem needs to be fixed, I get my way. But usually you have to work with other people that don't agree with you. You have to disagree with them. They have to disagree with you. Sometimes they get a little angry and upset. But you know what I found is that in most cases, the people who understand the process realize you just have to disagree appropriately. And sometimes you have to accept that you don't get it your way. That's just part of disagreeing appropriately. Let's talk about the steps for disagreeing appropriately. It is a seek to understand, then to be understood skill. So what the person does is they look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say that they understand the other person's point of view, share their point of view, then listen to what they have to say okay, and drop the subject. So even if somebody says, no, I'm not changing my bill to add that part in it that you think it should be in there, then I say, well, okay, thank you for your time. And I'm going to drop the subject in a way, meaning I'm not going to talk to them anymore, but I'm probably going to still go and try to stop the bill, because I'm not going to give up just because somebody doesn't give me my way. Now, your children can learn that too. They can have some grit and stick to things and try to solve problems their own way, but they have to honor the roles. And if your role is the ultimate decider in the family, then there is a point where they have to drop the subject with you about that thing, whatever it is that they're wanting to have happen. So when you tell them no, you don't get to go outside and play with your friend. Instead of talking back to you saying, why, I never get to. Instead, they should say, okay, may I disagree appropriately? And then you would say, yes, you could. And then they would say, okay, so, oh, by the way, you always say, yes, you could, because the first time they ask to disagree appropriately about any issue, the answer is always yes. You should teach them that this is the skill they want to do. If you tell them no, that they can't disagree appropriately, then they're going to whine and complain. So teach them to use the thing that works and that it will work. So you say, yes, you may. Then they say, Mom, I understand you don't want me to go out and play because it's getting late and it's kind of dark outside, but I told so-and-so that I would be out there in 15 minutes and it's been longer than that, and I think they're waiting for me, and I would feel bad if they had to wait for me in the dark, so I'd like to go and talk to them just to tell them that I can't come out. Is that going to be okay? And then, of course, you would say yes, because they explained that to you. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes little toddlers even talk back. My granddaughter has gotten into the habit lately, and her parents are working with her again on her skill disagreeing appropriately. But they also sometimes need to just teach her how to accept a no answer. And sometimes they might even need to correct her when she does that talk back. In fact, I shouldn't say sometimes, a lot. You want to proactively teach the skills you need, and those skills are taught on this channel and in my courses and trainings at teachingselfgovernment.com. So there's a lot of places to get the skills of self-government you need. But if a person doesn't use the skill and they choose to talk back instead, they're being selfish, they're being controlling. That's bad social skills. It is a parent's job to teach their children socially. They're never going to learn it out with their friends in the world. We don't do blind leading the blind and get to social gains. Okay, so you train your child socially, you tell them, oh, that's not okay, we need to correct that. So then you get to a place of doing corrections. I have multiple videos on this channel related to corrections. One that I'd like to refer you to next is one that is called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. Go to that video and you'll find a lot more information on how to do a correction so that you'll be able to correct the back talk if the proactive steps don't work.